All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel. Of course, your personification of excellence on YouTube and YWC. We're the best reviews wrestling and your three-time YWC channel of the year. And I'm back here. It is now Thursday, June 5th of 2025. So I hope you all are having a good one. Had a nice little relaxing day off work. So yeah, I figured I'd just chill out here for the most part. This is actually my second video of the day, of the night, if you will. Did a little short video doing a little imitation parrot, if you will, of what WWE fans sound like when they do the Cody Rhodes chant. So I hope you guys enjoyed that short video here on the channel. But here today, I want to make this video to kind of talk about something that I haven't really talked about, well, not as frequently. You know, it's been a while, like at least, 2 weeks almost since I talked about this. But I figure I'd give a little update here. So since I am, of course, a Baltimore sports fan, and I do usually cover this sort of thing, even though there has been disappointments here and there, I figure I'd give a little update in regards to the Orioles. Now, I know, I did say, of course, in the last video I did on them, that I was done with them for the season, which I very much am, at least watching the games for the most part, until further notice, just because, again, you have to understand, as a fan of theirs, who has been a fan of theirs for as long as I have, you have to understand the frustration, you have to understand, seeing a team, watching a team, want the team to do well, and then do the exact opposite, and it just agitates you as a fan. It's the same thing with anybody, any sort of fandom or any sort of, thing, anything really, in entertainment or whatever. You just it's just, you feel a certain way as a fan when you see a team lose. It eats away at you. And so obviously there's frustrations there, but I want to give a little update because I have been obviously, I haven't watched a game since I made that video, but I've been, periodically, I'll go on Google and I'll, check MLB scores just to, I'll do a little bit of score watching, if you will, just to see what all they're doing for the most part. And so it seems like lately, at least within the last week and a half, Orioles have been turning things around, I'll say. So I just want to, because I kind of noticed it now, and I figure I'd go ahead and give an update in regards to it. So in the last week and a half, let's say the last 11 games, the Orioles have now won 6 straight games for the first time this year. They've won 6 consecutive games. They just came off 2 series sweeps. The first one of the White Sox at home, which isn't really much to write home about because the White Sox have the worst record in the American League right now. The Orioles almost did, but they had a 3-game sweep of the White Sox at home, and then they're coming off a sweep on the road against the Seattle Mariners. They're on the West Coast right now. They just finished a 3-game set against the Mariners. They sweep them 3 games. And the Mariners were, for a time, the number 1 team, the team with the best record in the AL West. So that's pretty impressive. The Orioles have been, last week and a half or so, the Orioles have been getting it together, man. So they've won 6 consecutive games, 2 series sweeps, 6 straight, and they've won 9 out of the last 11 games. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, for me, looking at that, seeing that, it's like, it took you guys long enough. You know what I'm saying? It took them long enough. It took the 2 whole months here in the first week of June. It took you 2 whole months to finally get it into gear. You know what I'm saying? It took them 2 whole months to finally get the shit in gear. It took them firing Brandon Hyde to finally light a fire under some of these guys' ass. And, they got rid of Kyle Gibson, I believe, and I don't know who else, if they got rid of anybody else. I'm pretty sure Kyle Gibson was on the chopping block as well as Brandon Hyde, but it took them doing that for this team to finally get it in fucking gear. Now, when I look and see stuff like that, winning 6 consecutive games for the first time this year, and winning 9 of their last 11 games, that is the shit that I want to see. That is the Orioles team I need to see. That is what I want to fucking see. That is what they should have been doing since the start of this year. That is what I expect. That is what I expect as an Orioles fan. Seeing how they've played the last 2 years, this is what I am accustomed to seeing. This is what I want to see. I want to see that fire. I want to see that energy. I want to see that passion, that will to win that the team should fucking have, that they've had, that's propelled them to do what they've done the last couple of years. 100-win seasons, 100-win season a couple years ago. AL East champions. Made the playoffs back-to-back years. That's what I wanted to see out of this Orioles team. I've been waiting for it for all year, and it took them finally until the first week of June for us to finally see it. For me to finally see that this team finally has some passion. They have some fire. They have some will. They have a will to win finally. It's like it took them all this time. So yeah, so good on them, man. Good on them. So we'll see what happens, dude. We'll see what happens. That's back-to-back series sweeps. Winning 9 of the last 11 is pretty damn good. Now that being said, they're still dead last in the fucking AL East. They're still in the basement in the AL East. Still 11 games under 500. But at least they're doing something. At least they're showing us some energy. At least they're showing me that they actually want to win now. Okay, they fired Brandon Hyde. Now finally, I don't know who their new manager is. I forget the dude's name. Whoever their fill-in stand-in manager, I don't know who he is. Honestly, I have to look it up because I forgot the name right offhand. But at least now we're seeing some fire. At least now we're seeing that this team actually has a backbone. They have a spine. They're willing to go out there and fucking play to win. Finally for the first time this year. So I like to see it, man. I want to see more of that. If they have a good month of June, which so far it's been pretty good. I mean, like I said, 6 consecutive wins. They haven't lost a game in June yet. They keep this up. If they have a good month, if this month turns out to be good for them, they could get back over that 500 hump, and they could maybe get back into this AL East race. You never know. They're 12 and a half games back of the Yankees. But you never know. It's only June. It's the beginning of June, so they got a lot of time. A lot to make up for, but it's a start. It's a start. So this is what I want to see. This is the Orioles team that I've wanted to see, that I've been waiting to see for 2 months now. And now finally they're showing it to me. So yeah, man. So we'll see what happens. So next up, they start a series tomorrow. They're still on the west. They still got this West Coast trip. They play on the road against the Athletics, which they're not in Oakland anymore. They're in I think they're in Sacramento, or they're going to be there for a couple years until they move to Las Vegas, I believe. But anyway, they got a three-game road trip against the Athletics starting tomorrow. And then they come back home after that. They have a 3-game set against the Tigers, which that's going to be tough because the Tigers are right now the first place in the AL Central, and they got swept by the Tigers on the road like a couple weeks ago. But hopefully get some payback. And then after that, they play at home against, I forget who else they play. I can't remember who they play after that, but I'll have to check the schedule again. But I'm telling you, man, we go on the road starting tomorrow against the Athletics. The Athletics are last place in the AL West. Get some wins off of them, take 2 or 3, maybe get a sweep of the Athletics. And keep that shit going. And then come home and do what you got to do against the Tigers. And maybe we've got something. Maybe we've got something. But now, finally, some optimism with this team. Finally, they're showing some passion. They're showing a will to win. They're showing some positivity. We're seeing some positivity finally with this team. They're starting to turn things around. And that's what I want to see. That's been what I've been wanting to see all year. So finally something good with the Orioles. So I hope they keep it up, man. I'll be keeping a close eye on them. Maybe we'll see what happens. I'll for sure check the scores. And again, I know I said I was done with them for the year. I know I say that. I'm not trying to go back on my word or anything. But if they do good, hey, we never know. The sky's the limit. Maybe I'll start tuning into them again. We'll see what happens, man. This is a good start. This is what I've wanted to see all along. This is what I've been looking for from this team all year, so far. And then finally we're seeing it. So this is the Orioles team this is the Orioles team that I've been looking for. This is what I've been expecting, as an Orioles fan. This is what I expect. I expect them to win 9 of 11 in 6 straight games. I expect them to do this, and finally we're seeing it. So we'll see what happens, man. But it's good, It's finally some positivity. Finally, they're turning things around, and you'll love to see it. Anyway, that's all I got to say for this video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video, leave a comment if you so choose, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support you get. With that being said, it's pretty much going to do it, man. So, till next time, Wrestling Otaku, I'm out for now. See you guys later. Peace.